Hey, welcome. So, if you're navigating a divorce here in Pittsburgh, you already know your property is a massive piece of the financial puzzle. So let's cut to the chase and answer the one big question you probably have. What's a divorce appraisal actually going to cost you?
Look, I know you're here for a number, not a long, drawn-out explanation. So let's just get right to it. What's the bottom line for a court-ready divorce appraisal in the Pittsburgh area?
And there it is. Looking ahead to 2025 and 2026, you should plan on budgeting somewhere in the range of $600 to $900. That's pretty much the all-in price for most typical homes.
Now, that range is going to cover the vast majority of people. We're talking your standard single-family home or your average condo. But where does that number even come from, and what could push your quote toward the high or low end of that scale? Let's dig in.
Right, so that $600 to $900 figure, it's not just a random number that appraisers pull out of a hat. It's actually grounded in some pretty official benchmarks that help them set their fees.
Believe it or not, the starting point for many appraisers in our area is an official fee schedule from the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Now, yeah, it's technically for VA loans, but it's so well respected that it's become a benchmark for what a standard appraisal should cost in terms of time and effort.
And this table here, it really lays it all out. You can see the VA sets that baseline for a single-family home or a condo at about $625. It's a little higher for a manufactured home. And for a small multi-unit place, it starts around $800. So this gives us a really solid foundation for where that pricing starts.
And this right here, this is the crucial part. Local appraisers see these VA fees as the absolute floor, the bare minimum. And since a divorce appraisal usually needs to be more detailed than a standard one, the final price almost always starts here and then goes up. Okay, so we've got our baseline, but why isn't it just a flat fee for everyone? Well, the final price really boils down to the unique details of your property. An appraiser is going to look at four main things. First, the type and size of your property. Second, how complex or unique it is. Third, any special legal stuff that's required. And finally, of course, how fast you need the report done. And this gives you a perfect side-by-side comparison. A standard property, pretty straightforward, but something like a multi-unit building, a really unique historic home, or needing the appraiser to testify in court as an expert witness, well, each of those things adds another layer of work, and that, of course, adds to the cost. And that's why you won't see a one-size-fits-all price on an appraiser's website. Any reputable appraiser is going to want the details first. So getting a custom quote isn't a hassle. Honestly, it's a good sign. It means they're taking the time to accurately figure out the work involved. Okay, so how do you make sure you get a fair and accurate quote? You actually have more control here than you might think. Let me walk you through how to take charge of this part of the process. It really comes down to three simple steps. 1, when you call, be very specific. Ask for a divorce appraisal. That tells them you need a super detailed court-ready report. 2, have all your property's info ready to go. And 3, this is a huge money-saving tip, suggest to your spouse that you hire one neutral appraiser and just split the fee. That way you're not paying for two different reports.
So why is it so important to say divorce appraisal? It all comes down to a legal standard called equitable distribution. That just means the property has to be divided fairly. And to do that, you need an appraisal that is rock solid and can hold up under legal scrutiny. It's a much higher standard than a quick valuation for a mortgage. So let's put it all together into one practical, smart budgeting strategy. Go ahead and assume a base cost somewhere in that $650 to $800 range. Then if your home is on the larger side, is pretty unique, or has other complexities, make sure you add a little bit of a cushion on top of that. And all of this brings us to the final and most important question you need to ask yourself. Based on everything we've just gone over, is your property pretty straightforward, or does it fall into that more complex category? Because answering that simple question is truly your first step. It's what will help you set a realistic budget, know what you're walking into, and ultimately make a very difficult process feel just a little bit smoother.